Hello and welcome back to another FPL team selection video. Last week we had a slight red arrow, unfortunately, after hoping that we would be able to climb back into the top 1 million. But as you can see on screen, we essentially had like no good returns from like anyone. You know, the Forest players ended up saving me, because by the time Sunday came round and Salah obviously did what he did, I was down to about 2 million, 2.1 million. And again, you can literally see everyone apart from Flecken pulled off a 1 or 2 pointer. So we're very reliant on Chris Wood and Alex Moreno for Monday night's game, and thankfully they both returned very nicely. You know, Wood with 7 points, Alex Moreno kept the clean sheet with 6 points as well, which is exactly why we've got him in, and very chuffed with that. So we ended up with a 33 point week, which I think was like maybe 1 point above average, but we dropped about 200,000 places. So I don't mind it. It's not the end of the world. Considering how bad a game week it is, I'm quite happy that the damage wasn't too much. Unfortunately, obviously, Saka wasn't in the squad. Diaz I had first on the bench, and he was the one that came in instead of Morgan Rogers, which was quite unfortunate, because I probably would have ended up at least like even or with a small green arrow had Rogers came on and got his 6-pointer over Diaz. But it is what it is. Hopefully we can do a little bit better this week. We do have a decent enough team. We've made 4 transfers this week, so let's take a look and see who that is. So if you've been keeping up with the team selection videos, you know since the wildcard in Game Week 6, I've been stockpiling transfers to save up for like a mini wildcard kind of thing, potentially in Game Week 12, but Game Week 9 was where I felt it was needed. So you can see on screen we've got Calvert-Lewin, Saka, Luis Diaz and Gabriel. All 4 of those guys have came out. I've already made the transfers. I made them last night. Jimenez, Son, Palmer and Ait-Nouri were the 4 to come in now. If you haven't seen already, there has been some news coming out this morning that Son is not, or very unlikely to be available for the weekend, which is highly unfortunate, and that's exactly why you do not try and chase price changes, because you'd be in the situation that I'm in now. So essentially I made the transfers last night because Ait-Nouri was due to rise in price, and I had the exact amount of budget to do it when he was 4.4 million. So I made them last night thinking things are going to be totally fine. If Saka's fit, then it's alright. He's playing against Liverpool, got some tough fixtures coming up anyway, so I don't mind that. So I moved him to Son. Obviously Calvert-Lewin to Jimenez was a move I was speaking about last week. I've brought Cole Palmer in for Luis Diaz, which I'm very chuffed with. Diaz hasn't really been great recently, and Palmer is on some nice form. And then obviously to afford those moves, I had to downgrade Gabriel, which I wasn't really too happy about. Like, I would have preferred to keep Gabriel, but at the end of the day, Ait-Nouri has some really nice fixtures for like the next 9 weeks. I believe it's Game Week 18 where his fixtures don't turn, and Gabriel's kind of looking, you know, not too great for the next 3 weeks. So happy enough with those. Obviously, needed to do it last night for the price rises, but that Son news has really been a bit of a kick in the teeth. But we're going to take a look at the starting 11 now, because thankfully, obviously, when you do have a 15-man squad of playing players, you do have some backups, you know. So Son not being available this weekend isn't the end of the world, but let's take a look at the team. So this is how the defence looks for this week. We're once again going for a 3-4-3. It seems to be the majority of my formations this season. Obviously last week we done a 5-2-3 and ended up with 33 points, so that wasn't ideal. But this week we're playing Porro, Lewis and Moreno again. Moreno's coming in. Once again, you know, he's been pretty decent. He's playing, which is good to know. That was obviously the big risk we took on the wildcard, if he was going to actually play over Nico Williams or not. He is playing, still only 4.4 million, very happy with the way he's going. So hopefully we can get another clean sheet against Leicester this week from him. Rico Lewis, kind of debating on what's going to happen with him. You know, he has played a lot of games recently. Vardy will get his rest in the Champions League. Could Lewis potentially get a rest this week? It could easily happen. I'm going to start him anyway, you know, unless we get any last minute news. Trent can easily come in for Lewis, but more than likely Lewis is going to stay in here, and we'll see how that goes. Pedro Porro, obviously, you know, had him since the wild card. He pretty much plays every single week. He's very attacking, you know why he's there. So Ait-Nouri is actually making the bench this week. Again, like I said, I've brought him in just to afford the likes of Son. Essentially it was, I could bring in Palmer and Jimenez. and then it would have had to be Johnson if I didn't make the Gabriel transfer. In hindsight, now that probably would have been a better move. Could have went for Foden as well. If I'd known this on news, I probably would have went for Foden. But if I hadn't downgraded Gabriel to Ait-Nouri, it would have been Johnson coming in instead of Son. So making that move made sense. Ait-Nouri's got nice fixtures over the next few, and obviously Son is a much better asset than Johnson is. Now, looking at Ait-Nouri more in depth, why did I actually pick him? You can see on screen, again, taking out Gabriel was a big move. Gabriel is one of the highest scoring defenders in the game this year. I've took him out for a 4.5 million defender, but again, like I said, the fixtures are really nice for like the next 9 games. He's a easy rotationable player, if that makes sense. Happy enough just to have him on the bench if ever needed, and then playing if ever needed. But you can see he's very attacking as well. Key passes for defenders, he's sitting in 4th right now, just below Davis, Trent, Porro, equal with the likes of Robertson. In terms of expected goal involvement from defenders, he's also sitting in the top 5, just below again Trent, Davis, Porro, Romero as well in there. And then shots for defenders, he's still quite high on the list. He's top 10 with 9 shots, and he's sitting in 8th place. So he's already got 2 goals, 2 assists this year, and the Wolves have had a very hard run since the start of the season. So hoping that with this fixture change and a nice run of fixtures for him, he can continue to do well and continue to get attacking returns. I don't think Wolves have kept a clean sheet so far this year, but again, like I said, the fixtures are a lot better. The likes of Southampton at home, you would really hope for a clean sheet in that game. So I feel like it was a worthy transfer. I feel like it was a decent enough move. Obviously, I have benched Trent as well, and I think more than likely Trent is going to come in this week anyway, because again, like I said, Son is probably not going to be playing. So as we actually bring the midfield into it, we're going to be starting Son this week, because if he doesn't play, I don't think he's going to be on the bench. Essentially, it's going to be he's going to start or he's not going to play at all. So if he's not in the squad, then obviously Trent just comes in, easy as that. Obviously, we've got Lewis potentially getting benched. If he does, hopefully he doesn't come on, and at that point Semenyo comes on against Aston Villa. But again, I've got a more than strong enough bench to cover off players not playing. Son, I'm going to start him. Hopefully he does start, because that would be a total waste of a transfer if not. But yeah, Trent's more than capable of coming in and doing something. Obviously brought in Cole Palmer as well, and Buemo, Rogers, they're just staples in pretty much everyone's team right now. Both got really nice fixtures this week. But more on Palmer, obviously does have some pretty hard fixtures over the next few games. You can see his next 5. These are basically the expected goals conceded ranking of each of his next 5 opponents. Now he's got Newcastle, United, he's got Arsenal, Leicester, and then Villa. So 4 teams in there, you could argue, are fairly difficult fixtures. However, when you're looking at like Newcastle, when you're looking at Man United, are they really that great defensively? Newcastle are sitting as the 11th worst defence in the league, which is about middle of the table, so it's no different from like a Bournemouth, where you would probably want Cole Palmer for anyway. United even worse, sitting as the 8th worst defence so far, and obviously we've seen Cole Palmer already bag 4 against Brighton this season, who are not classed as a bad defence, so I don't think there's any reason where he couldn't do something against the likes of Newcastle and Man United. He's obviously got Arsenal in Gameweek 11, which is, yes, fair enough, that's more of a difficult fixture, but it is still a home game for Chelsea, and they're obviously doing really well. So I think he's one of those guys who is classed as fixture proof. Even against Arsenal he could do something, and the fact it's a home fixture just makes it a little bit better. And then obviously he's playing against Leicester, one of the worst defences in the league, in game week 12, and then Aston Villa in game week 13. So I'm bringing him in for now. I don't want Salah, and I had the budget to afford Palmer moving from Saka, so I feel like it made sense to me, and I feel like he could do quite well. And I feel like if you watch the captaincy video from yesterday as well, Cole Palmer looked like a really nice option for potential captaincy if you obviously didn't own Haaland. So Haaland is going to be our captain for this week, but Palmer is also a really good pick, so I did want him. I wanted to bring him in this week and see how he gets on against Newcastle. And then looking at the strikers, we've got Haaland, Chris Wood and Raul Jimenez. Obviously spoke last week about making the move from Calvert-Lewin to Raul Jimenez. I wish I'd done it last week. I wanted to keep Calvert-Lewin for the Ipswich fixture, and he ended up doing nothing anyway. Jimenez had Aston Villa and scored, so kind of wish I brought him in last week, but hey ho, it is what it is. We've got Jimenez for a nice little run now, and again, a very rotationable team, if that's a word. If anyone can come off, anyone can come on. everyone's playable apart from obviously Valdemarson. But yeah, happy enough. You know, we're the next couple of weeks up to probably game week 12. I'm probably going to be trying to save transfers, stockpile transfers again, and just rotating everyone. Just the easy way. So 3 transfers hopefully by game week 12, and at that point we'll bring back the likes of Saka. Probably bring back Gabriel as well, and we'll see how things go. So that is the team for this week. Let me know what you think down in the comments section. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, make sure to subscribe if you are new as well, and I'll see you all in the next one.